Warning: the following program is solely intended for a mature audience. Any of the idiotic opinions and views expressed on this show are solely opinions of Darkfringeradio and not of its advertisers, which is completely pointless because this poorly produced, dumbass podcast has no advertisers. Furthermore, any rebroadcast or redistribution of Darkfringeradio podcasts without the permission is strictly prohibited. If you do, we will find you. And then we will send 3 black-eyed children to your home or office to collect your soul. Thank you. Enjoy the show.
Coming to you live from the Mistopheles Studios, it's Dark Fringe Radio. And welcome everyone to Dark Fringe Radio. I am your host, Will Martinez, here with you tonight, and thank you for coming on the podcast, listening on this week. I salute your loyalty. Thank you so much. If you want to follow all of our social media, you can follow us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. Just look up Dark Fringe Radio. And you can follow all of our information there for your viewing and listening pleasure, because we not only post a lot of great articles, we also post the episodes of the podcast on there as well, so you can go on there and listen. But definitely check it out on all those social media outlets. Also, how to listen to the podcast. You can listen to us on a couple different platforms. First off, you can listen to us on SoundCloud. Just look up Dark Fringe Radio. Check us out there. Subscribe. So SoundCloud is always a good outlet. You can also listen to us on iTunes. If you have an iPhone, just go to iTunes, look up Dark Fringe Radio, and you'll be able to subscribe. And if you do that, do us a favor and also give us a 5-star rating and also a comment. We'd love to hear your feedback regarding the show. So if you guys can do that for us, that'd be great. Tonight, we're going to have a special guest on, a psychic by the name of PsychicJenB. And you can follow all of her information on Instagram at PsychicJenB. That's with one N. She has a very interesting Instagram. Actually caught my eye. That's how I was able to be exposed to her. And very interesting post that she's done as of late, and very intuitive. So it really caught my eye and it spoke to me. So I thought I'd bring her on the podcast, and we talk about, her history with her psychic abilities, and maybe do some readings as well. So again, just to mention, if you want to listen to the podcast, you also can listen to us if you have an Android phone. Just go to the Google Play, Google Music, and just look up Dark Fringe Radio. You can do the same thing there and subscribe. Anytime we drop a new episode on any one of these, the fronts, it automatically downloads and it notifies you automatically that there's a new episode. So, also, if you have any questions, any suggestions, guest ideas, topic ideas, you can send that to me directly at thedarkfringe@gmail.com. Again, that's thedarkfringe@gmail.com. So, I just want to let you know, I saw Halloween over the weekend. And, man, what a great film. I just wanted to mention, I saw that on Sunday, and, man, I can say that I was very pleasantly surprised. I didn't think that, I didn't walk away feeling cheated or cheap. It was good from, beginning to end. And I'm really glad how they left it open at the end, which, there's going to be a sequel. It did so well in the box office, so you can only imagine that there's definitely going to be a want and a need for a sequel to do just as well. So it's all about the money. So that's why this film actually why it's happened in the first place. But listen, they did a great job. David Gordon Green did a wonderful job with this script and this film, and can't say enough about it. They did a lot of nods to the original film, and it was just fantastic. So if you guys have a chance to go check out the new Halloween film, I highly suggest it. All right, enough about that. We're going to get to our guest here now, Miss PsychicJenB. You can follow her on Instagram at PsychicJenB. And also, if you want a personal reading, you can send her an email for a request at PsychicJenB@gmail.com. Again, that's PsychicJenB@gmail.com. So we'll get to our guest here, PsychicJenB, here in a second. I hope you guys enjoy.
Just waiting all the time could destroy you.
And thanks, everyone, for joining in on the podcast tonight. Again, I wanted to introduce a very special guest that we had on. Her name is PsychicJenB, and she's a woman I've been following lately on Instagram. And she's been posting some really intuitive things on there, and that just kind of really spoke to me. And I wanted to bring her on and just talk to her a little bit, talk about her background, what got her interested in the work that she's doing now, and maybe have some callers and maybe have some readings. So again, I wanted to introduce again tonight. Her name is PsychicJenB. Jen, how are you tonight?
I'm well. Thanks, Will, for having me.
Oh, wonderful. Listen, thank you for taking the time to speak with us and come on the podcast. I know you're a busy lady, but thank you again. It's going to be a treat, definitely, for me. Listen, I wanted to get into, what got you interested in, the readings and the tarot cards and what you do.
I don't think being interested is fair for me to say. I kind of feel like I've been talking to dead people my whole life, been very intuitive my whole life. I'd like to blame it on Scooby-Doo and Shaggy, but, for like in the paranormal, but it just kind of always felt like I just could talk. I know it freaked my family out when I was a kid.
I'm sure. No, I love to hear the story because I speak to a lot of psychics. I come into contact with a lot of psychics, and my biggest interest in someone who has gifts such as you. I always love to hear the origin, where it all started. What was that catalyst moment where you realized, okay, this is something that I know that I have. This is not just something that I'm, imagining. There's got to be a moment where that turns. Am I correct in saying that?
Well, I always knew it, even though I was raised in a very religious household, and I was told no, only Jesus could do that, and that I shouldn't speak about it. I was told quite frequently I didn't know what I was talking about, because it bothered them that I did. And so I was constantly trying to stuff it down. I mean, I was in elementary school having dreams of things happening before they happened. Once I basically hit puberty, it just got super intense and really scary for me. And although I had always been very defiant and not wanting to listen to my family because I knew what I knew and that's what I knew, it scared me. And I tried to stifle it and sit on it and stifle it and sit on it until my youngest son at about 1.5 started yelling at dead people outside in our yard and in our house. And that was my moment when I said, okay, enough is enough. I have to provide for him what wasn't provided for me. And that is support in this ability. He obviously got it from me. I feel like it's been handed down throughout my family, even though nobody talks about it on either side of my family. And so that's when I started looking for like-minded people, searching out New Age stores to see if they offered classes, so I could just start putting rhyme and reason to what I've always known was in me, because I knew if I was going to be the best support possible for my child, that I had to help myself first. I call it the airplane thing. When the breathing masks pop down from the airplane, you have to put yours on first before you can help anybody else. Because if you don't, you could pass out and die.
Yeah, no, that makes perfect sense. I mean, it's a perfect analogy. I couldn't say it better. And it's a blessing that you had the gift before your son did, because you were able to recognize it at such a young age when he started, going through his process and started to realize, he's starting to see these things, that you were there to give him that advice, to let him know it's okay. I know, I've been there. I got you. I know. So it's a refreshing thing, or it's a great thing to know that, that you went through that same experience that he was going through, and that you were able to give him that comfort that unfortunately you weren't given, when you were growing up.
Yeah, exactly. I was told, well, let's not talk about the guy in your closet.
Yeah.
And I was never going to say that to my son.
Yeah.
To either one of my sons. I was never going to say that.
Yeah, no, that's a good thing. And I think you're doing right by them by doing what you're doing there. But that's just it's a wonderful, story. And I understand that you growing up must have been very difficult. I mean, growing up alone as a normal kid, going through the normal things in life is hard enough. Adding the extra pressure of having these abilities, seeing these things, not knowing what to, do about it or how to act upon it. Do you still find it difficult today, as a grown adult woman with 2 children? I mean, do you still find, the gift hard to deal with at times?
For a while, I have, and if I'm not minding my P's and Q's, yes, it'll sneak it back up on me. Learning how to ground myself from my first chakra, learning how to use my aura for protection. These are things that if you don't have somebody teach you, you're knocking your way through life trying to figure out. And before I learned this is how you ground, because I'd always heard you ground through your feet. Well, I always say, because I'm a Pisces, that just didn't work for me, because I don't like to have dirty feet. I don't want to take my shoes off and touch the ground. I'm a water sign.
Yeah, me too.
But once I finally realized, hey, no, that first chakra, that's where you ground, and that's what feels good. And discussing and just having a like I said, like-minded group of people to talk about, oh, well, what does your grounding tube look like? What does your grounding tube feel like? And then physically reaching down and feeling their grounding tubes under their chairs and feeling the energy and really just getting to experiment with each other and learn watching, when I learned how my aura worked, it was a very visual lesson with dowsing rods. And I could we were supposed to walk towards each other to make the dowsing rods open, to show how big our aura was. As soon as I thought it, the dowsing rods in my partner's hand opened. And it was just amazing to really finally meet people and meet a teacher that was encouraging all of us, wasn't threatened by us. Because I've had a teacher that was threatened by her students, and that was terrible. But meeting a teacher, her name's Margaret, meeting Margaret and her just showing us how beneficial our gifts are, supporting us, that kind of support that I didn't have as a child, and just really gaining, because honestly, talking to dead people, it's not hard. It's that security in yourself to say what you're seeing, in your mind's eye, to say what you're smelling, to say what I physically feel, and just being, having enough. I guess I don't know really the word I want to use here.
Well, it's funny because I've
confidence.
Yeah, I've talked to other psychics and that have that same ability, and I've asked them that same question, and one answer that kind of repeats itself is that the hardest part is not seeing them, obviously, because it just becomes like second nature to you, but it's more of trying to understand what the message is that they're trying to communicate to you.
Exactly. How I describe it is playing charades with a complete stranger. Because if you were to play charades with, say, your brother or your sister or your husband or your wife, this is someone and you're going to be able to figure out their cues.
Right.
Well, not, you try to play charades with a complete stranger, you're like, what the hell are you doing? So, sometimes I have signs for things. Like if I see overalls, I know that they were a farmer or a gardener, or they fancied themselves a farmer even though they were just a gardener.
Uh-huh.
But other times they'll show me something, and so I tell my clients, I'm like, hey, I have to just describe this to you because, I don't know what this means, and this message is for you. So I'm going to assume you can tell me what it means.
Okay, let's see.
Yeah. Like a friend of mine, he lost a friend, and he turns to me at work one day, and it was very random. He happened to get me alone, and he says, I just had a friend that died. And so I'm not going to tell you all of it. I just want to tell you this one little happy part. And I said, okay, he's showing me himself as, well, he's a big guy and he's got a hairy belly, and he starts laughing. He says, yes, he totally had a hairy big belly. And I said, and he's showing me himself as a cherub with little wings, and he's got his feet crossed and they're bent up. And he totally started laughing. And he said, that's what he would do. And I said, and then of course I instantly knew. Because he wants you to laugh. He wants you to know he's okay. That he's perfectly happy. So, why he was showing me a fat hairy cherub didn't mean anything to me, but the laughter immediately sent that vibe where, okay, I know what this message means.
Interesting. Very interesting.
It's kind of a brutal story. Let's just say he didn't die in a way anybody would want to die. But he conveyed himself with that image. I see. Because even though he died the way he died, he wanted his friend, my coworker, and who was also my friend, to know he was okay.
I see. Wow. Yeah, that's a crazy story. It's just like, it's funny how we have that power even on the other side to be able to project ourselves, a certain way, and I think that's a wonderful thing. Jen, what do you think? You take a call. You want to do that?
Sure.
Okay, let's get someone on the line here. Give me 1 minute. Jen, this is Ingrid.
Hi, Ingrid.
Hi, how you doing?
Your name. I love your name.
Oh, thank you.
So, Ingrid, if you had any specific questions, anything at all that came to your mind, I wanted to give it to you. You have the floor to ask Jen anything you wanted.
Okay. I don't know. Do you have any sort of information on my father?
And are we speaking crossed over or?
Yes, he's crossed over.
Okay. Was he sick for a while before he died? Because I'm trying to figure out the symbol he's sending me.
Yes.
All right. Thank you. I'm sorry. I'm thinking him because I saw a hospital bed, and that's actually the first time I've seen it. So like I was telling Will, sometimes I get signs I'm used to, and sometimes I get new signs. And what I'm finding interesting is that when he shows me the hospital bed, he doesn't show me in it. He shows him the hospital bed is empty. And it's not just empty. There isn't even any sheets on it. So, it's not a clear line. I don't really know how to explain it because I feel him like speaking. So I'm trying to hear him. He's not really showing me. He's saying something. Okay, so he just showed me the feet kicking up. Like, enjoy.
That's what that means?
Kind of like a hill click.
Okay.
I don't know if you've ever seen a dance. Normally dancers do that.
No, he was a pretty bad dancer. So, yeah, I don't know when he became a good dancer. You got to be pretty agile
to do that. But, and he is showing me the light. I think he wants to talk about when he crossed over. And I'm asking him if he can give me a sound for his name.
So you want me to give you a sound?
No, I'm asking him if he'll give me a sound. Okay. Normally, when they say their name, so like if you were on the other side and you said Ingrid, the grr sound would be a major syllable, and so I would hear the grr. So I'm asking him if he'll say his name so I can get a sound. Sorry. I should have explained that first. If he can give me a sound. Why are you showing me your shoes again? He keeps showing me like his feet and his shoe, but I mean, not his bare foot. Like he has shoes on, and he keeps showing me his legs because he keeps jumping.
Yeah, I don't know what that would mean.
I feel like okay. He was glad when it was time. He felt that. Sorry, I'm getting emotional. It felt like a relief to him. I feel like he jumped into the light. Like he was so happy that the light came. He jumped into the light.
Okay.
I'm still not getting a name though. So can you show me what you look like? Or show me something that has recently happened to Ingrid to validate, please. I don't know what that means. I'm seeing really green grass. I have no idea what that means.
Yeah.
I don't even know. I'm like, dude, because I'm from California, so, I'm whipping out the word dude. Dude, you got to tell me what green grass means. Oh, man. Okay.
Green grass. I'm trying to think of something. I don't know.
I feel an uncle as well. It's his uncle.
His uncle. Okay. Maybe. I don't know his family very well. I mean, I think most of them had passed when I was young, so I don't really know them very well.
They're playing a game, but I don't know what the game is. I understand, but I need you to tell me what the game is, please. Okay. It's some kind of card game.
Okay.
And I keep seeing a little dog.
Okay. You had a dog. You had two dogs he was very close to.
This one's little, though. Like little.
Okay. What color? What kind of dog?
It has something on its ear that's very identifying. Some sort of spot on its ear or line on its ear. It could be. Yeah.
Had a poodle and a Yorkie that he was very close to. I guess he had a lot of dogs when he was younger, but I wouldn't remember them.
It's little. But there's this weird, I want it it's not like a birthmark, but it's kind of like a birthmark on the dog's ear. He showed me, it's like a very, the spot on the ear was very defined. It's like the end of the ear was one color, the two-toned.
Yeah, I don't know.
I mean, this dog's little. So
it would have to be Kiko, the little Yorkie.
And then it showed me the ear. Then he showed me the ear.
Yeah, there's nothing.
I would need you to have a picture so you could look at the picture right now. I feel like if you saw the picture and saw the ear, it would make sense.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Is it a cat that recently passed? My mom's looking for a cat that disappeared on her that had a little weird notch missing out of it.
No, it's not a notch in the ear. It's like
okay. It's a birthmark. I don't know. I don't know.
It's some sort of I don't want to say birthmark. It was born that way, but it's like this really unique. Thank you. That's the word. Unique. The way its ear is colored is very unique, and I feel like he's bringing this up because the ear is. He's trying to give me a symbol.
And it's definitely a dog. It's not a child.
Yeah, it's a dog.
Okay.
It is a dog.
My daughter has a weird ear. Like a little bit, little notch. Not weird, a little notch in her ear. It's kind of interesting. Her dad has it. So, yeah. Okay. I guess it's a dog. I don't know. Is there any way to ask him if he's okay or?
Oh, yeah. when he showed me them sitting at the card table playing a game, because I asked him instantly, because my family would sit at a card table and they would play dominoes. And he was like, no, we're not playing dominoes. He was telling me what it was. I never heard of the game before. So I can't like say it. It's something with a B.
Yeah.
Could it be Baccarat?
He wasn't a card player, so I don't like.
It was like he played it with his uncle. And so he's playing it with his uncle. I feel like it was something he did when he was younger, but he's playing with his uncle now. So when they show me stuff like that, it means I'm having fun. I'm kind of doing they're playing games. They're, they don't have Netflix. So they're not, they watch us sometimes or whatever. So I really want him to give me a more specific sign, but I kind of feel like he's not. Like he just, I don't know. I'm wanting him to give me something that recently happened to you that he could tell me about. So the grass that I saw, it felt like it was very manicured, like a sports field. So soccer, football, like a very manicured grass. But I didn't see like dirt, so it was definitely not a baseball field.
Started playing football recently? That would make him happy.
I just saw the manicured grass. Honestly, Ingrid, I'm not going to stretch anything. I'm not going to reach for anything. And I don't know why he's like just showing me these little things. He's not super talkative. I know he was happy when it was over. Say again?
I said he was usually very talkative.
Well, not to me. When he showed me at the table with him playing the game, he actually had his back to me. I could see the uncle, the side of the uncle, but he had his back to me. And some are like that. I actually had a friend of mine, her grandma was with her, her abuelita was with her, and she wouldn't speak to me in English, and I don't speak Spanish. And until
he speaks Spanish, but he spoke English very well. No.
I'm saying like I've had people come to me and it's like they have to hang out with me for a little bit. Like I could totally feel her grandma there, but she would not speak. She would speak to me in Spanish, and I'm like, I don't speak Spanish though. And I offered to have my grandpa come in and translate. And that's when she finally decided she would speak to me in English. I don't know why. Your dad's just like, he's showing me the heel clicked. He showed me the light. I felt like he jumped up and jumped up into the light. So you would have to tell me if he was bedridden, because when he showed me the bed, he showed me the bed empty. So it feels like he was happy to be out of the bed. Like he's happy to get up and get moving.
He hated being in the hospital, and he had emphysema, and he actually broke his hip right before. That's what actually put him in the hospital last time, and he didn't make it after the surgery for the hip repair.
That's why he's clicking his feet together and jumping up and down. That's why he kept showing me his legs, because he wasn't walking. But I don't know why he's not turning around. I feel like he's smoking something when he's sitting at the table. I don't know if it's a cigar or a pipe.
Well, he was definitely a smoker. That's what got him in trouble the first time.
I know you said emphysema, but like I don't feel, it was like he didn't want me to see him. But it was more about the cards. What'd you say the name of that game was?
Baccarat?
See, I don't even know what that game is.
It's an older game. I mean, that's stuff like that my grandma would play.
I've never, my family didn't play cards. They played dominoes. So I don't really know card game names.
Yeah, that's the only one that comes to my mind. I was when you said that, I was shifting through a bunch of games in my head, and it's either Baccarat or Blackjack. I mean, that's the only other one that I can think of.
Yeah, it wasn't Blackjack. Yeah. It wasn't poker, because I asked him if they were playing poker, and he said no. But I'm wondering if Yeah, because I wish I hadn't even told you. I thought he was smoking something because you had already told me the emphysema thing. But I feel bad. I'm like, no, I don't want to reach. Like, I'm hard on myself. I want them to tell, like I want, no, I want you to tell me why you're showing me the grass.
Yeah.
I feel like the grass and the dog go together. I actually feel like he wants you to get a dog if you don't have a dog, or if you do have a dog, he wants a little dog. But this dog is very
kids are like, my kids will want to hear that.
This ear. The ear was very specific on the dog. You know what it looked like? Okay. Yeah. Sorry, pop culture.
There we go.
Do you know what the Gremlins?
I knew you were going to say that.
Yeah. Gizmo's
my little
ear
Yorkie
was
was
brown on the
gremlin,
end
so it was
and
his
white.
Yorkie, but yeah. Okay.
I'm sorry, go ahead. What'd you say?
I said his little dog looked like a gremlin, like it was a little Yorkie, a little fuzzy Yorkie with his ears up. And
there we go.
I don't remember
just said it looked
whether
like
it would
Gizmo
have.
from the beginning.
It's something my mom would know if he had something on his ear, but I didn't really notice.
Well, that's what he was showing me, was the ear like Gizmo.
Okay. Okay.
I should have just said that, but I was like, I don't know if I want to say Gizmo. But the grass was very manicured, and I'm trying to get him to tell me, do you want her to get a dog? Why are you showing me the dog? Why are you showing me the grass? But he's kind of laughing now. He literally, because he's been with his back to me the whole time, he just turned around and waved bye at me. No joke. I'm like, but I'm still asking you about the grass.
Okay.
And he waved bye.
Was he wearing glasses?
No. He wasn't.
Okay. That's interesting. Okay.
Well, is there anything else, Ingrid, that you wanted to ask Jen?
No, I just wanted to know if he had something to say to us, or something he wanted us to know, or how he was doing. But that's pretty much it. I mean, is there anybody else that wants to come through and tell me something? I don't know. I'm open to anything or anybody.
So there is one other thing that I do want to mention with your dad is I saw a gold chain, and that's not a symbol for me for anything, so I don't know what that means. But when I saw the gold chain, I saw it on a dresser. I don't know. I'm asking my guides to show me again, because, he kind of turned, waved, and turned back real quick, and he's not even coming back, but, because I'm seeing a dark wood dresser. It's more modern. It's not like old furniture. It's a modern furniture, and there's a gold chain just kind of laying there on the corner of the dresser. And like I said, it's not a symbol for me for anything, so I don't know what that means.
Okay. I'll go look at my mom's house with a gold chain to see if he has anything. Okay.
All right, Ingrid. Well, listen.
That was it.
Well, thank you for coming on and asking your questions. I do appreciate it.
Thank you. All right. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Bye.
Okay. Bye-bye.
Well, that was interesting, Jen.
I feel bad that he wasn't more talkative.
No, that happens. I know that happens, every once in a while. And like you said, I know when people speak dual languages, sometimes they prefer to speak a different language when they're crossed over on the other side. So, I totally get it. All right. We'll take one more and see what we can uncover here next. And give me 1 second. Hello, Lonnie.
Hello.
Hey, how you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
Very good, very good. Listen, you are on the line with PsychicJenB, and I'm going to give the floor to you here in a second, and, you can ask any kind of question you like, anything you have a question about, all right?
Okay, awesome. Thank you so much for having me on.
Absolutely. So the floor is yours. Go ahead.
Okay.
Hi, Lonnie.
Hi, Jen. I guess a question I wanted to ask is more future-oriented as far as my career, if I'm making the right choice with school.
Okay. I'm going to use my cards for that. Are you taking classes like for two different things? What's it called? Double major or something?
No, it's actually I'm just getting a license. I'm going for massage therapy.
Is there something else you could be doing at the same school?
Actually, yeah, there was. I was going to go for just home assistant,
Okay.
like
So
an HHA. Yeah, there's different things there. Not like
Okay.
any. I was going to go for a rad tech program, but it was just too long. So
Okay. So the death card came out, and that's about change. So that definitely means you need to change to the other one. I didn't hear what you said. What kind of assistant was it?
it was for radiography for rad tech.
Okay. I'm not familiar with what that is. I do feel as though that you could. Okay. So basically, your guides are talking to my guides. And what I'm hearing is that if you wanted to finish doing massage therapy, you could do it. You would never be satisfied. You would never be happy with it, but that completing it could put you in a position to make money to go back to do the tech one.
Right. Mm-hmm.
That is actually what you would find the most fulfilling.
Interesting. Okay. And I guess just the other question was just current situation as far as I guess that was like money in my current situation, my living situation. If not to get too personal, but like if I should eventually like move, if I had an opportunity to like travel or something like that.
Well, you need to put more work in first. What I'm being shown here, because I am using the cards to help bring the visuals, is you got to finish one thing before you can start another. So you're very distracted. Feels like you're still trying to find yourself and make up your mind. So finishing one project at a time and pacing yourself and to not spread yourself out too thin is how you're going to accomplish your bigger goals. You got to start with the small ones and build your way up. So, yeah, like you don't really want to even finish the massage therapy at all. Like you're not, like, are you finding it hard?
No, not really, actually. I was actually excited to do that. I thought, I like the idea of being my own boss and being able to, get a trade and make some money doing that. Or it would actually allow me to travel perhaps in the future. So.
How far are you into the classes?
I would be graduating in May, so I'm only 2 months in. So
okay, because I feel like you're gonna want to start pulling away, and you're just gonna have to press yourself. I feel like you finishing this is. They're saying it's a stepping stone for your confidence. Mm-hmm. I specifically heard stepping stone for confidence. My guides are a lot easier to understand than dead people. I'm just going to say this. I feel like you're going to get to a point in your classes where you're just going to be like, I chose the wrong thing. But your guides are saying you need to finish, you need to finish, you need to finish, you need to finish. And that by finishing, that's how you're going to get money for other things, like going back to school and getting more education. And if you're wanting to travel, it feels like you're going to need to do the tech thing.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Can you do like traveling nurse stuff with that?
There is actually some, traveling positions within that field. Yeah. Absolutely.
Because I have an uncle who does that, and they showed me him, and So it feels like this is a really a stepping stone for confidence, because they keep saying that over and over and over and over and over. that finishing the massage therapy, because I feel like you're going to just hit a point here. And I know like this hasn't happened yet, so you might not be able to completely relate to me saying this, but it feels like you're just going to hit this point where it's just like, no, I should have done the other thing. But it's very important for you to finish this.
Okay. Well, no, thanks for the advice. It's good advice. Yeah, I think I just chose the other field because it was more consolidated and I'd be graduating quicker, and I just didn't want to go for it would be like 3 years of school. Do you know what I mean? And I'm just trying to get myself in a situation where I can be a little more independent and leave a situation, if you know what I mean. So I opted for the shorter course. So, but no, that's great advice. So. I'm trying to think if there's anything else as far as like my future love life. Do you see anything in the cards for that?
Well, I was feeling that you are in a bumpy road right now, and I can it just see, I hate saying stuff like this. Like, unfortunately,
go ahead.
you're kind of in this situation where you're having to learn a lot of hard lessons.
Mm-hmm.
I hate saying it's kind of okay. All right, don't be mad at me when I say this. It's kind of being young and dumb. You have to do it to be older and wiser. Even if older and wiser's a year later, it's still older and wiser.
Okay.
So it's just one of those learning things you're going through.
Okay.
I know.
Fair enough.
I know you didn't want to hear it. I know you didn't, but just so you know, Will,
I was just
back me
curious.
up. We all went through it.
Yes.
Okay. Well, great. Well, thank you.
All right, lady.
I appreciate
the
reading. All right. Thanks, Will.
Thank you so much for coming on. I appreciate it.
You're welcome. Thanks.
Wow, Jen. I mean, that's pretty good stuff there. Do you think you'd be okay for one more?
Yes.
Okay.
I can do one more.
One more. Okay. 1 second.
The grass thing's still killing me.
Is it really?
Yes, it is, because like I said, I'm really hard on myself. When I'm speaking to the dead and I'm transferring that message over to the living, I need facts.
Right.
And I'm telling it's like you drop this bomb of grass on me and then you're not telling me anything else. And it kills me because, when I want to speak to my dead people, I want that validation.
Yeah.
And so as the medium in between, I want to deliver that validation. Mm-hmm. And he was not giving me anything on the grass, and it's pissed me off. Not even kidding. He wouldn't tell me his name.
Yeah.
He wouldn't. And I mean, even when he turned and looked at me,
he
didn't look at me directly in the face. He turned, waved, like his hand was in front of his face, just waved at me,
defiant,
and then turned super fast back around.
Defiant, huh? To the end, huh?
Yeah, and I'm just like, but some people aren't ready to talk.
Yeah, no. That makes perfect sense. And I've been in that situation before where I've been the third person in this kind of conversation, and that happens a lot, more often than not, than most people expect. But it happens. But let me get the last person on. Hello, Irving.
Yes.
How are you, sir?
Good. How are you, buddy?
Good. So listen, I'm gonna I have you on the line here with PsychicJenB. I'm gonna give you the floor, and you can ask her any specific questions that you have, and go ahead.
All right.
Hi, Irving.
Hey. Hi. How are you?
I'm well, thank you. How are you?
I'm doing pretty good, thank you. So I actually had something that I wanted to run by you that happened to me a couple of days ago that I told Will about.
Okay.
And just see what your thoughts are on this. I was thinking, what does this mean? The other day, on the 24th, I was sitting at my desk at work, just not, nothing special going on. All of a sudden, I felt like these heart palpitations. Right? And so I didn't think much of it at the moment, but then it happened again maybe a few minutes later, and it started me thinking of like the first time that I ever had something like this happen to me when I was a child, when I was like 12 years old, 11 years old. And so I actually remembered the incident when I was 12 years old, and I didn't remember the exact date that happened, but I remembered that it was the day that Jackie Robinson died back in 1972. And so I checked Wikipedia, and I checked. I said, when was it that Jackie Robinson died? And it was October 24th, 1972.
Wow.
So that's what I said. What does that mean?
Well, scientifically,
let me just say, on that day, on October 24th, 1972, I had a panic attack to the point where my mom had to call the ambulance on me and take me to the hospital at 11 years old, and I was freaking out.
That's what I was going to say. Scientifically, anxiety or panic will manifest itself with heart palpitations. You will feel your heart will just start pounding. Your chest might start getting really warm. Your neck will get really warm. You might feel sick to your stomach. And these are all physical, scientifically proven reactions to anxiety and panic. Now, where is it from? That's always the question. When this happens, first of all, is there a reason? Well, no, you were sitting at your desk doing nothing. So that's when you say, I mean, for me, this is how I'm going to teach you is if you cannot find a valid normal reason, now let's start looking at a paranormal reason. Is somebody in a cubicle around you or in a desk around you? Is this anxiety coming from them? Are you empathing their anxiety, their stress? Were you a huge, huge fan of Jackie Robinson?
Not necessarily at the time. When I was 11 years old, and when I heard of him passing away, I've always been a news junkie, and I was a news junkie even then. And I was watching the news, and I heard of this great man, passing away of a heart attack at a very young age, at 53 or 56, I think he was. And I didn't know him before that. I was real young. I wasn't that much into sports or whatever, so I really didn't know who Jackie Robinson was. So, no, I wasn't following him. I just, but I saw the name, I saw his face, and I thought it was weird, even at that time as a small child, that this man has died of a heart attack so young. And also, I guess I should add to this that back then there was a show that used to come on called Emergency, which was a show about hospitals and people having heart attacks and all kinds of stuff. And I had just finished watching that show, and in that particular show, there was a depiction of a person having a massive heart attack, and they're showing a CPR and all that got my adrenaline going, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
And also it brought me back to an event that happened that summer where I actually witnessed a young boy drowning. Well, not drowning, but he almost drowned. And I saw the guards pull him out, give him CPR, water coming out of his mouth and all that, and thank God they brought him back to life. So that left a lasting impression on me. I kept asking my mom, what's that about? What is that? What is the procedure that they're doing? What are they doing, pumping his chest and all that? And it just left an everlasting impression.
Because the dates are the same, and I've never heard this before, so Will, I'm wondering if you have, it kind of feels like some sort of
remembering like an echo or a playback of the dates being the same, because I don't believe in coincidences.
That's right.
I'm wondering if, because of watching the boy almost drown, watching the show of the man having the heart attack, reading about this famous, hugely famous baseball player, all of that building up, causing him to have this panic attack on October 24th, 1972. And October 24th comes around, and here, so we have the scientific reason for all of that happened 36 years ago. And then it's almost like it's an echo, like your body, because
like
I don't believe
residual PTSD, maybe. I
mean, time is fluent. It moves around back and forth all the time.
Right.
I mean, what if you just happen to be, the planets are lined up, everything's lined up exactly the same, and you literally just vibed it back into yourself through energy.
Yeah. Wow. Yeah, I mean, I definitely figured it's not just, there's something. I mean, like, because I at the moment, when I get these little palpitations here and there, because of, I guess, the 1996 event. The doctor told me basically the same thing. You might have gotten anxious, maybe something you ate with a lot of what do you call it, coffee in it or something, and
Caffeine.
That triggers palpitations sometimes. But this time around, I don't know what triggered it, but it just came out of nowhere, and I wasn't scared. I wasn't having a panic attack, but I just felt the palpitations, and for some reason it just made me think of the first time I had an event like that, which is in 1972, and then I said, hey, let me Google the date. When was it that Jackie Robinson died? And when I saw that it was the same date that it was happening to me on, I said, wow, what does that mean? And I remember running to Will and saying, Will, what does that mean?
So Jen, do you think he's an empathic, you think?
That I think that feeling anxiety that doesn't belong to you, when you stop, drop and roll and realize you're not on fire, so you realize that anxiety didn't belong to you. Yeah, you're empathing it. I'm wondering, honestly though, from everything he's describing, and I don't even know what to call it, because I've never, but I totally believe how time overlaps itself, that the past, present, and future is all happening at the same time. And with this all happening on the same date, it just feels like he just had like some sort of echo, because that energy when he was 11 was so intense that it made a mark on his timeline, I guess.
Yeah.
Wow.
So to say.
Wow. That's what? That's kind of like what I have been feeling since that date. Something I didn't quite call it an echo, but I thought to myself, some kind of remembrance that that date has a special meaning for me, or something to that effect, and subconsciously, it just like reminded me, and I wonder if that's happened before, maybe last year on the 24th, or maybe even years before, and I just never gave it any thought. But this time it made me, I guess, with all the technology, and I had my iPhone handy, and I said, let me just Google when was the date that happened, and I was just shocked. It was October 24th.
Yeah, no, it's amazing. It sounds like you had like a residual echo in your timeline. I mean, that's the way that Jen is putting it. I mean, it explains it perfectly.
That makes sense, because I do believe in I don't know what you would call it, but I do believe in that we feel stuff like that, and wow, But so it doesn't mean anything bad is going to happen, right? Because that's what I was worried. Oh, is it going to mean that maybe something's going to happen to me? I'm going to have a massive heart attack or something? What does that mean? But I mean, I feel.
Well, Lord, I hope not.
No,
huh?
That's good. Well, Irving, listen, thank you so much for coming on. I do appreciate it. Thank you, Irving.
Oh, you're very welcome. My
All right.
pleasure.
All right.
Nice talking to you.
Thank you. Have a good night, Irv.
All right, thank you. Bye.
Well, Jen, again,
46
you,
years. 40. That was 46 years ago.
Yeah, isn't that
Damn.
Isn't that crazy?
I'm just really like. This is just making my wheels go because, I mean, I like to think about things normally and paranormally and
Right.
how they affect each other and
Well,
not just talk about tarot cards all the time. Like
Yeah.
I like to think about that stuff, and that's just, it sounded like this, like an echo.
Yeah. Just like how a ghost, residual energy, as they call it, haunts a certain area, does the same thing over and over again. Why wouldn't a moment in time, especially something that was traumatic for somebody like him at that age. So, yeah, it's just amazing, and you definitely never cease to amaze me. And I really do appreciate you coming on the podcast. I know you also have a YouTube channel, and I also was looking on that as well. You give, I think it looks like weekly readings. Is that correct on that channel?
I do bi-weekly. I started out doing weekly, but it's just too much to do that, and appointments and the muggle job. So I do bi-weekly and general energy by zodiac sign. So, I mean, honestly, unless you are watching your sun sign, your moon sign, your rising sign, I mean, Venus is in retrograde, so stop by and watch your Venus. Jupiter's making a big move. I mean, like, there's so many things that could affect it.
Right.
I hate to say this, but I would rather not do general energy readings like that, but that's the only way to really get out there and offer my services.
Of course.
So I do them. I would rather just read tarot cards for one person at a time versus the masses.
Yeah, no. It makes perfect sense. I mean, especially when you want to ask a more specific question, you know what I mean? You're not going to find an answer in a YouTube video, but that requires a one-on-one. So I totally get that. And where can people find more of your information, Jen?
So, on Instagram. And everything's under PsychicJenB, and it's Jen with one N as God intended. I know some people have been foolishly raised to believe that Jen has two N's. It does not.
That's the only way I've ever actually spelled it, the one N, actually.
Yeah. I have a bunch of friends in Iowa, and apparently in Iowa they all spell it with two N's. I don't know what's going on there.
We want to make our point across. There's two N's.
It's one N, Jen with one N, JenB with one N.
There you go.
Yeah, they tease me out in Iowa and call me Jen with one N. I'm like, whatever. If you want to make it longer, that's fine.
Jen, you also do a podcast. Is that correct?
I do. So I'm on Twitter, I'm on Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube, all as PsychicJenB. I do a podcast on Sunday nights. It's called The Psychic and the Skeptic, where Shay, Carol, and I just kind of spout off at the mouth and have a good time and mostly laugh a whole lot.
Yeah.
And that's on Spreaker.
Okay, perfect. So yeah, please everybody check that out. I encourage everyone to check out that and see and hear all the excitement on that podcast as well. We'd like to cross promote other great shows. So please check out that location. And again, you can follow her at PsychicJenB. That's with one N, of course. Again, Jen, thank you so much for taking the time to talk to me and staying this extra long time. I really do appreciate it.
Oh, no problem. Thank you so much for having me.
Of course.
And keep posting all the cool stuff you post on Instagram.
I try.
Everybody go follow him on Instagram, too.
Yeah, it's not a bad one. I appreciate it. Listen, Jen, thank you so much, and you have yourself a good night.
You too.
All right,
good
thank
night.
you. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Well, there you have it, folks. That's our interview with PsychicJenB, and I hope you enjoyed it very much. Again, you can follow all of her information at JenB, PsychicJenB with one N, at Instagram. You can follow her there. That's where I follow her. Also, she has a YouTube channel where she does bi-monthly readings on there as well. And then also, if you're interested in having a personal reading, you can send her an email at PsychicJenB@gmail.com. So make sure to do that. And I want to thank her again for coming on the podcast. Again, if you guys want to send me any suggestions to the show directly, you can send that to thedarkfringe@gmail.com. Again, that's thedarkfringe@gmail.com. And again, that's it for this week. I'm your host, Will Martinez, and we'll see you again next week.